There comes a point in life when we dream not just of destinations, but of meaningful experiences, reunions with faraway family, long-awaited vacations, or a peaceful escape from routine. For many people over 70, travel represents freedom, curiosity, and the joy of still discovering the world. But there's a quiet truth we often hesitate to admit. Travel isn't as simple as it once was. Your body moves a little slower, your energy fades a little faster, and what once felt like an adventure can now feel like an obstacle course filled with hidden risks. Maybe you've noticed it yourself, how long flights leave you exhausted for days, or how a hotel bed triggers aches that linger longer than expected. Maybe you've even faced a scare while away from home and realized how far you were from your own doctor, your pharmacy, your safety net. It's not about fear, it's about wisdom. Because at this stage in life, being cautious doesn't mean you've given up. It means you're paying attention. You've earned the right to be selective about where you go, how you travel, and what your body can realistically handle. You've lived through enough to know that the wrong trip at the wrong time can turn a joyful plan into weeks or months of recovery. In this video, we're going to talk honestly about 5 reasons why traveling after 70 can be risky. Not to scare you, but to empower you. We'll cover real concerns like medical emergencies, infections, fatigue injury, and the financial traps that often catch seniors off guard. By the end, you'll be better equipped to make informed decisions, whether that means adjusting your travel plans, taking smarter precautions, or simply knowing when to stay home. Because your health, peace of mind, and independence are worth protecting. Travel should enrich your life, not take something from it. And when you understand the risks, you gain the power to travel on your own terms with confidence, care, and clarity. So if you've been wondering whether that next trip is truly worth it, you're in the right place. Let's talk honestly. Let's plan wisely. Let's begin. First, the silent risks when health turns mid-trip. If there's one thing that travel after 70 demands, it's humility. The quiet understanding that our bodies, once so resilient, now operate with different rules. You may feel healthy at home. You may walk your neighborhood with ease, keep up with daily routines, and rarely visit the doctor, but the moment you step into an unfamiliar environment on a plane in a foreign country, or even just across state lines, your body becomes more vulnerable, not weak, not incapable, just more sensitive to the unexpected. And that's the truth. Many seniors only realize mid-journey when it's already too late to turn back. One of the most serious challenges of traveling later in life is the elevated risk of medical emergencies. Conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, or even mild respiratory issues can become much more dangerous when you're far from your home base. The pressure changes during air travel, the unfamiliar climate, the fatigue from jet lag, and even the stress of navigating a new place. All of it places extra strain on your system. What would have been a manageable situation at home can escalate into a full-blown crisis when medical help isn't readily available. Imagine this. You're on a beautiful river cruise in Europe, enjoying the breeze, the views, the wine, then suddenly your chest tightens. You're dizzy, the ship's onboard nurse offers basic care, but you're hours away from the nearest hospital. You're in a different country. Your medications aren't on hand. And to your surprise, your insurance doesn't cover international care. What started as a dream quickly turns into an ordeal. This isn't a rare story. It's a reality for many, even simpler health concerns like a urinary tract infection. Dehydration or altitude sickness can hit hard. Your immune system isn't as fast as it used to be. Your body takes longer to bounce back, and a minor illness, if left unchecked while traveling, can snowball into something far more dangerous. And then there's the emotional weight, the stress of falling ill far from home, the uncertainty, the language barriers, the decisions you're forced to make quickly without your doctor, your family, or your comfort zone. But here's the good news. Awareness is power. If you're considering a trip, start with a full health checkup. Ask your doctor specific questions. Would you recommend this flight duration, this altitude, this level of activity? Don't just bring your medications. Carry extras and keep them in your carry-on. Know where the nearest hospital is at your destination, and never ever travel without comprehensive travel insurance that includes medical emergencies and evacuation coverage. Because when you're over 70, travel is no longer just about where you're going, it's about how prepared you are for what could happen along the way. Respecting your health isn't limiting your freedom, it's protecting it. And when you plan with intention, you can still explore the world safely, wisely, and without regret. Second, the invisible threat, when exposure becomes vulnerability. It's not just the obvious emergencies that pose a risk when traveling after 70 pounds. Sometimes it's what you can't see that catches you off guard. You step into a bustling airport, breathe in recycled air on a crowded plane, shake hands with a kind stranger, or sip from a glass of tap water at a local cafe. All of it feels routine until your immune system reminds you that age has quietly changed the rules. One of the most underestimated dangers for seniors while traveling is increased exposure to germs, viruses, and foodborne illnesses. At home, you're surrounded by an environment your body knows. Your immune system has adapted to the bacteria in your neighborhood, your water, your food. But abroad, or even just in a different city, you're suddenly surrounded by unfamiliar pathogens. And when your immune system is already slower to respond, those seemingly harmless exposures can turn into full-blown infections before you even realize what's happening. For younger travelers, a touch of food poisoning or a common cold might mean a rough day or two, but for someone in their 70s, the consequences can be far more severe. Hospitalization, weeks of recovery, or worse. Respiratory illnesses like the flu or pneumonia, which circulate more freely in airports and airplanes, are especially dangerous. Studies show that seniors are not only more likely to contract these illnesses, but they're also more likely to suffer serious complications from them. And then there's the food. One of the great joys of travel is experiencing new cuisine, but for older adults, the digestive system often becomes more sensitive. Spices, oils, preparation methods all can trigger distress. Add to that unfamiliar water sources used to wash fruits or prepare meals, and suddenly that adventurous bite becomes a health hazard. Something as simple as ice cubes made with tap water can carry bacteria your system can't handle. Take Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who traveled to South America with friends. She avoided street food, stayed in nice hotels, and thought she was being careful. But after enjoying a salad at a reputable restaurant, she developed a severe gastrointestinal infection that landed her in a hospital for 4 days. The culprit, lettuce rinsed in untreated water. She recovered, but the trip, something she dreamed of for years, was cut short, and the memories forever tied to that unexpected detour. So how can you protect yourself? Preparation is everything. Pack hand sanitizer and use it frequently, especially after touching handrails, menus, or public restrooms. Drink only bottled or filtered water. Avoid raw foods like salads or undercooked meats in places where you're unsure of the food safety standards. Bring along medications for nausea, diarrhea, and common respiratory issues, and talk to your doctor about vaccines that might protect you against region-specific illnesses. Remember, being cautious isn't being fearful, it's being wise. You can still enjoy the richness of travel. But after 70, the invisible dangers require you to be more vigilant, more informed, and more intentional. Because good health isn't just a travel companion, it's the passport that keeps you safe along the way. Third, when the journey drains more than it gives, the hidden cost of travel fatigue. At first glance, a vacation sounds like the perfect way to relax. New scenery, new experiences, time away from routines. But after 70, the travel experience changes. What once felt exciting can now feel overwhelming. And the truth many don't talk about is this: for older adults, it's not always the destination that's exhausting, it's the journey itself. Long security lines, cramped airplane seats, delayed flights, new time zones, and unfamiliar hotel rooms all chip away at your physical and mental reserves. For younger travelers, these are temporary discomforts. But for seniors, they can lead to profound exhaustion, an exhaustion that doesn't go away after a nap or a single night of sleep. What most people don't realize is that travel demands a level of adaptability the aging body can no longer meet without consequences. The circadian rhythm, which governs your sleep-wake cycle, becomes more delicate with age. A small disruption, like crossing time zones or sleeping in a noisy room, can throw off your body's internal clock for days. Add in the reduced melatonin production that comes naturally with aging, and you're left wide-eyed at 200 a.m., wondering why rest won't come and why you feel more tired now than before the trip. And it's not just sleep. Sitting for hours on a plane can cause swollen ankles and aching joints. Carrying luggage, climbing hotel stairs, navigating uneven terrain, it all adds up for those with arthritis or circulation problems. Even walking a few city blocks can become a painful ordeal. Suddenly, the idea of sightseeing feels like a marathon, not a leisurely stroll. Take Roger and Denise, a retired couple in their mid-70s who booked a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Japan. They had their itinerary carefully planned, eager to see cherry blossoms and historic temples. But after a 14-hour flight and a sleepless night adjusting to the time difference, Roger could barely walk without pain. Denise found herself dozing through museum tours. What they thought would be rejuvenating became a test of endurance. When they returned home, they needed a week just to recover both physically and emotionally. Fatigue doesn't just steal the joy from the present moment. It affects your balance, slows your reflexes, and weakens your immune system. The more tired you are, the more likely you are to stumble, fall, or get sick. What begins as tired feet can spiral into something far more serious if you're not paying attention. That's why travel after 70 requires a new kind of wisdom. You don't need to give up exploring the world, but you do need to explore it differently. Build in rest days. Choose shorter trips or closer destinations. Prioritize direct flights with minimal transfers. Don't overload your itinerary, and most importantly, listen to your body. If it's asking for rest, give it, because a meaningful journey shouldn't leave you depleted. It should leave you renewed. And after 70, protecting your energy isn't optional. It's the only way to ensure the memories you make are ones you'll treasure, not ones you'll have to recover from. From Fourth. When one misstep changes everything, the danger of falls and injuries. After 70, it only takes a moment. A missed step on a cobblestone street, a slick hotel bathroom floor, a dimly lit staircase in an unfamiliar place. In your younger years, these might have been minor stumbles, easily shaken off, quickly forgotten. But after 70, one small fall can change your life forever. As we age, our bodies become less forgiving. Balance isn't as sharp, reflexes slow, and bones, once resilient, are now more brittle. A simple trip can mean a fractured hip, a dislocated shoulder, or a head injury that turns a once-in-a-lifetime vacation into a medical emergency. Worse still, these injuries can lead to long-term mobility issues, months of recovery, and a loss of independence that may never be fully regained. Travel makes this risk even greater. You're in unfamiliar surroundings, walking more than usual, often tired from long days or jet lag. Surfaces you don't know. Uneven sidewalks, slippery tiles, hotel carpets with curled edges become hidden traps. And if a fall happens in a foreign country where emergency services are slower or medical care is unfamiliar, the consequences can escalate quickly. Consider the story of Irene, a 76-year-old widow who had always dreamed of visiting Greece. She spent months planning her trip, walking daily to prepare, and felt ready. But during her first day in Athens, while stepping down from a tour bus onto a rocky curb, her foot twisted. She fell hard, breaking her wrist and hitting her head. The local clinic was kind, but lacked proper imaging equipment. She had to be transferred to a larger hospital 2 cities away. What followed was a blur of language barriers, paperwork, unexpected expenses, and a terrifying sense of helplessness. She made it home eventually, but her confidence didn't. Irene later said, "The fall didn't just injure her wrist, it stole her trust in her own body." And that's what makes falls so devastating after 70. It's not just about the bruises or broken bones. It's about what they take from your spirit. Fatigue plays a big role here too, as we explored earlier. A tired body is a less stable body. When you're not well rested, your coordination suffers. Add in dehydration, unfamiliar terrain, or poor lighting, and the risk multiplies. Seniors using walkers or canes are especially vulnerable, as they often have fewer free hands to stabilize themselves or break a fall. So how can you stay safe? Start by choosing destinations designed with accessibility in mind. Avoid places known for steep hills or rugged paths. Pack sturdy, non-slip shoes, not just for fashion, but for function. Use handrails, avoid rushing, and don't be afraid to ask for assistance. If your accommodation has slippery tile floors or no elevator, don't hesitate to request a safer alternative, and above all, honor your limits. Slowing down isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You've earned the right to move through the world carefully, with grace and awareness, because every safe step you take is one more step toward living the life you still want to live on your terms. Fifth, when the real cost isn't just money. The financial risks of traveling after 70. For many seniors, retirement is seen as the reward for decades of hard work, a time to explore, relax, and finally see the places they once only dreamed of. But in all the excitement of planning a trip, one crucial detail often gets overlooked. What happens if something goes wrong? After 70, the answer to that question can carry a financial weight that lasts far beyond the vacation. Most people assume their regular health insurance will follow them wherever they go. But the truth is, many plans, especially Medicare, offer limited or no coverage outside of the country. That means one unexpected illness, a fall, or a medical emergency in a foreign land can quickly spiral into a financial crisis. A hospital stay, even for something routine, can cost thousands of dollars. An emergency evacuation by air, tens of thousands more. Take the story of Paul, a 75-year-old man who booked a long-awaited cruise with his wife. Just 2 days into the journey, he suffered a minor stroke. The ship's medical team stabilized him, but he needed to be transferred to a hospital on land. The cost of the helicopter evacuation, followed by a week of intensive care in a foreign country, left Paul with a bill of nearly $48,000. His regular insurance didn't cover any of it. They had to dip into retirement savings they had carefully built over decades, and just like that, the trip of a lifetime became a long-term financial setback. Then there's the risk of non-refundable expenses. Most seniors plan their travel months in advance, paying upfront for flights, hotels, and cruises. But life after 70 is unpredictable. A new medication, a flare-up of a chronic condition, or even something as simple as a family emergency can force a sudden cancellation. Without proper trip insurance, those prepaid costs vanish, leaving not only disappointment, but real financial loss. And let's not forget, scams. Seniors are among the top targets for fraud in unfamiliar surroundings. Only increase the risk. Fake vacation rentals, overcharged taxis, currency exchange schemes, or too-good-to-be-true offers. Online can quickly drain funds. Worse still, some scammers pose as friendly locals offering assistance only to take advantage of someone who's just trying to find their hotel. But here's the truth that brings all of this into perspective. Financial risk isn't just about money. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that if something unexpected happens, you're protected, that your independence won't be compromised by a single moment of bad luck or misjudgment. So, how can you protect yourself? Always verify whether your current insurance covers international travels. If it doesn't invest in comprehensive travel insurance that includes medical emergencies, trip cancellation, and evacuation. Book only with trusted sources and avoid offers that seem too good to be true. And when in doubt, lean on loved ones or travel advisors to help you review plans before you commit. Because at this stage of life, travel should bring you joy, not jeopardize your financial security. Final thoughts. Traveling after 70 can still be beautiful, but it's not the same as it was at 30 or 50. The spirit of adventure may not fade, but the body's tolerance, The immune system's resilience and the safety net of youthful recovery all change. What once felt spontaneous can now require thoughtful planning, honest self-assessment, and an awareness that one misstep, be it physical, medical, or financial, can carry lasting consequences. We've explored 5 key reasons why traveling later in life carries real risks. Sudden health emergencies far from home, increased exposure to infections, the exhaustion that lingers longer, the higher likelihood of falls and injuries, and the hidden financial traps that can quietly unravel your security. None of these are meant to scare you. They're meant to prepare you. Because longevity isn't just about adding years. It's about preserving the quality of those years, about having the freedom to choose your joy without risking your health, your peace of mind, or your hard-earned savings. That doesn't mean the door to travel has closed. It simply means that door opens differently now, through smaller steps, safer paths, and smarter choices. Sometimes the greatest journey isn't across an ocean, but within your own awareness, knowing what you need to feel strong, steady, and fulfilled. If today's insights have helped you think differently about life after 70, we invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel for more thoughtful, empowering content made with your health, wisdom, and well-being in mind. Because your next chapter should be written with clarity, confidence, and care. And we're here to walk with you one wise step at a time